Hey guys, welcome to my channel, All the Things. I'm Anna and this is my breast implant illness video. We have Leo here today because he insists, and no matter how many times I put him down, he'll keep coming back. You'll see. I've ummed and ahed about how to do this video and all the different things I want to include, and this is probably take 7 or 8, but I'm done making excuses. I just want to put it up because the aim behind this is to raise awareness and share my story so that other people know just how bad this illness can be, because it really shocked me. I never thought it could be as horrible as it got. So it's not going to be perfect. I don't have any editing software at the moment. I'm not really savvy with that, so I'm just going to try and do this start to finish. I'll make it as quick as possible, but it is kind of a long story, so we'll see how we go. Firstly, I want to say welcome to any and all of the BII warriors. I'm going to share this into the support groups so that hopefully all of those ladies can share it with other people that they know, and you know, it can just get out there and you know, spread the word, hopefully. So hello to those beautiful ladies, and thank you as well, a really big thank you, because when I was going through my worst time, that group really got me through. I didn't feel like I was alone or going through it alone, having those beautiful strong women there for support, so thank you. I'm gonna cover detox in a separate video. I've learnt quite a lot about that I want to share, but I'm not gonna have enough time to condense it into one video. The last video I made ended up being half an hour, which is too long. So I'm gonna mainly cover today, getting them in, what I was like before, what I was like after illness or during illness, and just what I've learned from it, really. So without further ado, here's my little whiteboard, just so that I don't forget anything, and I do have notes on my computer here because I have a lot I want to say and I don't want to forget anything, so forgive me if I'm referencing looking at the computer sometimes. So 2018, I had my implants put in. I had 610cc textured silicone inserted under muscle. Now, textured silicone are the most renowned for causing issues. I didn't know this at the time. I didn't know about BII either. I was never told about the risk of breast implant illness. I didn't even know what it was when I got them in. So initial recovery from surgery was pretty rough. It was quite painful. They were very big, heavy implants. Because I mean, I'm not a small person. I'm almost 6 foot, so I wanted to be in proportion. And going from my humble A cup, they were quite large implants, so recovery was a bit of a you know, ordeal. But I got through that, and once I was healed from that and they'd settled, I was overall pretty happy with them. For the first 6 to 12 months, you know, I was just psyched that I could wear tops and outfits that I couldn't pull off before, and all of those things like that. And from there, I got back into gym and was loving life. I got a full-time job. I was working full-time at Kittenden Mall, commuting in and out of the city, going to gym 2-3 times a week, still being a mum part-time as well, still seeing friends, socializing. You know, I was a massive social butterfly. So yeah, life was great for about a year. And then after about a year, I started noticing some odd symptoms and things like itchy feet and food intolerances, stuff like that, which I didn't think much of and was kind of confused about, but didn't really put it down to the implants at all. It was a long time before I made that connection. But that's how it started, and then slowly it just got worse and worse. And from there as well, I had a few other contributing factors, stressful things and heartbreak and just stuff like that emotionally, which I now have learned can contribute to the onset of breast implant illness. So I'm going to talk about that with the Th1, Th2 dominance soon. But yeah, from there, my life started to come to a screeching halt, and things got progressively worse and worse over the next 1 to 2 years. I just deteriorated, and the symptoms just added on and added on and added on, regularly, each month or so. Just wanted to pull out this. So this is just one of the lists of symptoms that I drew up throughout my illness, and took to my doctor when I was trying to get a referral for explant surgery through the public system. So I ended up with much worse anxiety with panic attacks, depression. These started when I was getting sick. I'm pretty sure that they're related. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain. Started getting intrusive thoughts. It's really weird. It's like a really weird neurological thing that just started happening. I'd just get these horrible thoughts that would cause massive panic and anxiety to the point where I would lose sleep over it and just be in these constant states of panic. It was really fucked. Physically, I had rashes, joint pain, all my joint pain. I had a capsular contracture grade 3 on the left side, and all my joint pain also seemed to be on the left side. I think those are linked. So I had joint pain in my jaw, my shoulder, and my hip. Some mornings I couldn't even yawn when I woke up because it hurt so much to open my jaw. I had nerve pain, so nerve pain came up in my neck, came back in my back, which I had previously in younger years, but it was pretty much resolved. So nerve pain came back, which can also be linked to varicella zoster or shingles, internal shingles, which I did come up positive for on a blood test. That ties in with the immune response and just the autoimmune issues that can arise with this illness. I had IBS, reflux, lots of gastrointestinal issues and gut issues, as I said, food intolerances, heart palpitations, acute asthma, brain fog massively. I was forgetting everything. I would forget to close the garage door, forget my keys, forget this, forget that. Headaches, dizziness and vertigo. I had really bad dizziness. Whenever I would try to exercise, I would get super dizzy. I had to stop doing yoga, which I loved. And I'm doing again now. So massive dizziness, bloating, chronic fatigue. I was always just a wreck and had no energy. Insomnia, irritability, dental pain and sensitivity, obviously pain and discomfort around the breasts themselves. They were getting quite sore. Dry red eyes, dry mouth, dehydration. I think this one is linked to adrenal burnout, which can happen from, a lot of stress and your body constantly being in fight or flight. UTIs, no libido whatsoever. Itching, as I said, along with the rashes too. Night sweats. Yeah, it was a lot. At my worst, I had around 42 symptoms, and on my worst days, my poor boy, he would get himself up and ready for school, make his own lunch, feed himself. I would drag myself out of bed, take him to school, come home and drop my sorry ass straight back into bed. I was just a sack of aches, pains, itches, symptoms, just horribleness. Horrible. Like I have never felt so utterly horrible in my life. And now that I have a better understanding of what it actually is, and with the Th1, Th2 dominance, it all makes a lot more sense. He's back. Hello, Leah. So I'll explain that a bit more now. So the immune system response, when you initially get, this is my understanding. I'm no expert, but I've done a lot of research because I really wanted to understand what was wrong with me, Here he is. So the Th1 dominance is the initial response from the immune system when you put a foreign object in your body and it tries to contain it. So that is when every implant will get a capsule. So the body will create a capsule around the implant itself. And you're really in the way there, guy. Oh, Leo character. So that's the Th1 dominance when it creates the capsule around the implant. And yeah, so everyone gets a capsule. Now, the Th2 dominance is when the immune system swaps, or it kind of jumps over, and it's sort of saying, okay, well, we've tried this to contain it and we can't get rid of it. We can't push it out or anything. So we're just going to attack everything. And the Th2 dominance is when your immune system will start attacking all the other parts of your body, including your healthy tissues. So that's why things like joint pain and rashes and itching and gut issues, they all start to crop up, as well as autoimmune issues. So it really wreaks havoc on the immune and the nervous system, which then just affects everything else. And that's also why the gut has a lot of issues too, because the majority of your immune system lives in your gut. I think it's similar with the nervous system as well. They're very interlinked. So it wreaks havoc on the nervous and immune system. And for the duration of the time I was ill, I really did. I felt like I was dying. I actually felt like I was dying. But in fact, it was my own body killing itself slowly. So it's a very horrible experience. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies. And I really feel for all the women that are still going through it and that will continue to go through it, unfortunately, because there's not enough awareness of this. And doctors and surgeons, they continue to put them in because they want to make money. And this is one of the great lessons that I've learned out of this, is that a lot of surgeons have no problem gambling your health for their profit, which is a very sad, unfortunate realization, but true nonetheless. So that was me at my worst. It was one of the very darkest times of my life, and I was desperate. All I would spend my energy doing for many months was desperately trying to organize explant surgery some way, somehow. As I said, I went through the public system and tried that, but it was months waiting even just to get a consult appointment through the public system. And I was so bad that I didn't even want to be around anymore. So I ended up, begging friends and family, and my best girlfriend in Sydney, she just saw how horrible I was and said, look, babe, I'll lend you the money. Just organize explant, fly you here. And God bless her. I got the best friend in the world. So she really saved my life there. So I was lucky enough to have people that helped me in that aspect, and I managed to organize explant surgery. But as I said, I'm going to carry on with that in another video. We're already at almost 15 minutes now. So been over the Th1, Th2 dominance, and the immune system response, MCAS, adrenals and gut health. So I'm not sure if I have or had MCAS. I definitely had a lot of the symptoms, and I went on the low histamine diet for it, which did help a lot. It's a very restrictive diet, so it could just be that the diet was so restrictive that in itself helped a lot of the symptoms. I was never actually tested for MCAS because it's very little known. It's kind of most GPs don't know about it. My GP didn't know about it, so it's something you'd really have to go to like a functional doctor and pay a lot of money to get those kinds of tests done, and I don't have that kind of money. So but I still went on the low histamine diet, and this I would recommend, because I think that if I had known about this diet whilst I was still very sick, it could have helped a lot of my symptoms going through it. So this is one thing that I really do want to share. I'm going to add a link in the bio so that you can jump on to, it's called endsickness.org. It's completely not-for-profit, it's completely free, so you can access the full diet and supplement protocol for free. As I said, I'm no expert, so side note, consult with your doctor before starting any kind of protocol or changing your diet. Now that that's been said, for me personally, I found that it really did work. I did the supplements and everything, which again, I'm going to go over in another video. But if you are still going through it and you're finding you're having a lot of gut issues and things like that, my best advice is to really restrict your diet down, cut out junk food, cut out anything that's difficult to digest, because you've got to remember your body is a war zone when you're going through BII, and your immune system and nervous system is constantly on. So if you can give your body as much good nutrition and foods that are going to help support your adrenals and calm your nervous system, that's the best thing you can do for yourself to just try and feel a bit better until you can get to explant surgery. I wish I'd known about the diet before, because I was still eating a lot of different stuff, and even though it was mostly pretty healthy, there was still so many things that weren't agreeing with me, things I didn't realize, like avocado and spinach, that are two of the highest histamine foods that you should avoid because they can cause more histamine production. So avoiding things like that did really help me, even though I didn't start the diet until after explant. I still think it would have been really helpful during the worst of it. And as well as that, I have learned also there are some meditations and like pressure points and things that you can use to try and calm your nervous system and to move back into your parasympathetic nervous system as well. So there's like pressure points in your ears and things you can do, like gently pulling your ears, stuff like this. There's some pressure points in your chest. If you hold down like this for 30 seconds or so, it's meant to help you relax and go back into your parasympathetic nervous system. There's some videos on YouTube that I've watched and followed along and done some of these things, and they do seem to help. So yeah, switching up your diet, getting into some meditations, trying to keep your body as calm as possible while you're going through it. I know it's stressful, I know it's really scary, and when you're as unwell as what I was, which not all women get that sick, some only have a few symptoms, and they're okay to wait a few months or more until they can get explant, and that's fine. But if you're really, really bad like I was, I was just a constant stressed wreck. I had a blood test come back and my cortisol was double what it should be, cortisol being the stress hormone. So I really could have used some of these things back then if I'd known about them. Supplements as well. So there are like a mushroom extract that I used to support and recover my adrenals. Thorn is a good brand that has an adrenal cortex. Again, I can go over all of these in more detail in the other video. Also, restorative exercise. So if you want to, cause just keeping your body moving is still good, a good thing, because these implants will leach toxins. So if you can kind of keep moving as your body is trying to push them out, it does help, and it helps, your mental health as well. But don't do anything crazy. And if you're feeling like crap, just going for a walk or doing some yoga, those are my two main go-tos. And that was all I did for the first 6 months or so after explant as well. Just walking and yoga, just restorative exercise. And one other tip, if you want to detox, don't start until you've had explant. So this is one thing I really wanted to make sure I shared in this video. With breast implants, even if they are not ruptured, they can still leach toxins and the heavy metals through the implant, and they can still get into your other parts of your body, your fatty tissues, your bloodstream, things like that, and still wreak havoc. So that's why you can absolutely get sick, very, very sick, without any rupture. So I had an ultrasound when I went to see a doctor after I became aware of breast implant illness and put two and two together. I went to see a doctor. They did an ultrasound and it came back with no rupture. So I was told it's not the implants, they're fine, it's got to be something else. My intuition told me otherwise. So I went to another doctor, a specialist, not a breast specialist, but the first doctor I saw said, I'll refer you to a specialist if you want a second opinion. So I was like, okay. Went to this specialist and had a bunch of blood tests run. As I said, came back with low B12, really high cortisol, and I'd been positive for not only Ross River fever, which is odd because I've never been far north enough to have contracted that, but also varicella zoster had been active. So that's the chickenpox virus, which I had as a kid, and I didn't have any actual chickenpox. So I believe that that was the internal shingles, which caused the nerve pain and nerve damage. And I had also had pneumonia. So there was really something quite wrong with my immune system. I was getting really sick all of the time. Every flu or sniffle that everyone had, I was getting it, and I was getting it so much worse. And when I had pneumonia, it went into my lungs, and I ended up with acute bronchitis and asthma, and actually had to be on an inhaler because I couldn't even breathe one night. And yeah, it was quite intense. I was very, very sick in a lot of different ways for many, many months. So yeah, I suppose I'm going to jump to the wrap up now, and I wanted to wrap up just by sharing what I've learned through this experience. I've learned a few good things. So excuse me, Leo, because I need to scroll. Just excuse me. So, you're on the keyboard. I can't. Leo. All right. I'll just have to go from what I can see from here. What did I learn? Surgeons will 100% mislead you and gamble your health for their profit. Lesson number one. Although there is awareness building of this, not enough people know, because there are hundreds of thousands of women going through this or have gone through this. And I'm sorry, but that number is too high. There needs to be a pamphlet or a brochure that is given every time someone wants to go through this procedure. They need to be made fully aware, because I was not. The only risk I was informed about by my surgeon who put them in was the risk of infection, which is the same for any open surgery. I was never told about breast implant illness. I was never told that they could make you really, really, really unwell to the point that you wanted to just die, basically, or feel like you were dying. Thirdly, doctors, professionals, manufacturing companies, they do know about this. Absolutely, they know about this, but they sweep it under the rug so they can keep making their profit off it. That is the sad, ugly truth. Lesson number 4. GPs and specialists, such as the ones I went to in order to try and get diagnosed and get help, have no fucking clue about most of this, and will just tell you it's not the implants, it's not this, it's not that. Coming back round, I forgot to mention the last little tidbit. The specialist I went to after those blood results came back, he told me that while he thought that I was truly unwell, he insisted that it was all from external factors, that it was basically all in my head, and gave me a script for Zoloft. So I didn't bother with him again. I just listened to my intuition and I'm glad I did. And that's lesson number 4, is that learning to trust my body and listen to my body and what it was trying to tell me was paramount. In the end, it was me that saved me. I decided, no, I'm not listening to you. You clearly don't have a clue. I had a list of symptoms that I had printed off and ticked off from the Breast Implant Illness and Healing by Nicole website that I correlated with 42 symptoms of the illness. And it all just tied together too well for it not to be the implants for me. So I was sure, intuitively I knew that was the issue. I mean, yes, I had other contributing factors and things. I have struggled with mental health in the past, and I still have those struggles, but where breast implant illness is concerned, it was the majority of the issue at that point in time, and 98% of those symptoms have gone since explant. So there's the proof is in the pudding. Lesson number 5. My body is perfect as it is. And my worth and my value is not measured by the size of my chest. The reason that I got implants is because I was insecure. I was bullied in school and I was made to feel like I wasn't enough because I had an A cup. And because mainstream media and all of social media, or most of social media, plasters these images of perfect bodies and perfect breasts, and you need to look like this to be accepted, you need to be like this to be loved or to be worthy. And it's simply not true. And that was the biggest lesson that I got out of all of this. And it was very difficult for me to move past it. It was difficult adjusting after having explant, definitely. But I would say that I'm now in a place where I'm more loving and accepting of my body than I ever have been. I don't care that I'm an A cup. I see all the positives in it now. I'm running again, pain-free, much more easily. I can sleep on my stomach again. I don't get any back pain from the weight of them. You know, there are lots of great things about it. A lot of life is easier with small boobs. So I am now a proud member of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. And that will be how it will be remaining for the rest of my days. So whether or not other people accept that, it doesn't really fucking matter. Because at the end of the day, I have finally accepted me the way I am, because we're all born perfect. And I wish that I never felt that I had to be any other way. But that is why I got it. It was out of insecurity and feeling like I wasn't enough. And I know that that's why a lot of other women get it too. So I really hope more than anything that this part of my message carries across, and that all the women out there that feel like they're not good enough just because they don't have big boobs or a perfect nose or this or that, it's just not true. It's not true. That's not your value. That's not your worth. This is just your physical meat sack that you're moving through your experience in. Your value and your worth is so much more than that. And what you're able to do is so much more than that. And I'm able to do a lot more physically now without those toxic implants. So, big lesson learned. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I have tried to be as vulnerable as possible here and really share my story. I hope it carries across well. I hope that even if one person can be reached and can maybe change their perspective and not put these toxic implants in their body, then I'll be happy. You know, even if I can help one person, save one person from that kind of suffering. I know that not all women get this, because with the Th2 dominance, it can depend on a lot of things. It can depend if you've already got a predisposition to autoimmune. It can depend on, I've done some other research and come up with some very interesting information tying into grief and stress and things like heartbreak. that can contribute to pushing the immune system over the edge into the Th2, which does correlate for me as I was going through a very stressful time, moving house, heartbreak, some other things, personal stuff, which could definitely have contributed to my immune system jumping over into that Th2. So although you may get them and you may be fine, you may not be. So I suppose my last little tidbit to share is that if you do have them and you're currently fine, I pray that you stay that way. But I would suggest you be so very mindful of your stress levels, because if your stress levels and things like grief and loss and heartache can all contribute to breast implant illness onset, just be really mindful. Make sure you eat well, exercise, meditate, keep your body calm, do relaxation therapies, stuff like that. Take care of yourself, love your body, treat it like a temple. That's what I do now, and that's what I'll do for the rest of my days. I realized that I was not treating my body how I should have been treating it. I wasn't loving it how I should have been loving it. And I've made the necessary changes to come back from that, and it's been a long road to healing, but here I am. So I'm proof that you can get through it. If you are still going through it and you're going through hell, keep going. You can get better. I got better. Let me be a little ray of hope if you're in the dark pits of it. This too shall pass. That's it from me, guys, for this one. I'm going to wrap up because I'm at half an hour again anyway. I was trying for 20 minutes on this one. So that is the majority of my experience through breast implant illness. I am going to do the detox video and go from explant onwards in the next one. I apologize this ended up so long, but I hope that you guys find some value in it and that it can help anyone in some way. Much love to you all, and I'll see you soon.